Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode one of the GNG debates. I'm Gary,
Galina here. Hi.
and first of all, I would like to just say a big thank you to anyone who jumps on and watches us live or catches us on the replay. I'm really excited about today's topic. Today, we're going to be debating here, Galina. It says, can getting more material things help us feel less empty? What's your take on that to begin with?
Yeah, I think it would be good to discuss like why people tend to spend, so much money on sometimes unnecessary things, and why they feel this need to always spend more and more, and does actually this help them feel fulfilled inside?
Yeah. What's your personal experience in relation to just general shopping, impulse buying, and your feelings and towards your the things you buy? How do they affect you, positive and negatively?
Well, I don't hide that I'm one of person who also used to, shop many things and realize later on that, well, it's just another dress or another pair of shoes or another watch, another bag, which like after 1 or 2 weeks you just don't feel so excited about, and it makes you think, why you end up just spending money, and after that you realize it doesn't make you that happy.
No, exactly. I know myself, if I'm talking about relating to perhaps food, I know that I'm generally an impulse buyer if, like, for example, chocolate. I know that I cannot buy chocolate because I know, apart from the fact it doesn't really make me feel good, not in the long term, instant gratification, yes, I feel wonderful after eating a piece of chocolate. But I know for my long term health, physically and everything, it's not that great. And yeah, it's just makes you feel good. That sugar hit, that sugar rush that we get. So I do make huge efforts, especially recently, to really reduce my sugar intake. And if I can, my end goal will be to actually rid sugar from my life, because I think sugar is actually not actually a great thing we should be consuming in general.
Also, I have a question, Gary. Do you think that materialistic people, because yeah, we can say that materialistic people tend to purchase more things, right?
Right.
To feel happy, to feel
Hmm.
fulfilled. Um, do you think materialistic people are less happy actually?
Well, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I think also we have to. There's two sides of the spectrum here as well. It's like if you look at people that are shopaholics in this case, but they haven't got enough finance to fund their addiction, then yeah, this has all different results in that respect. Results in respect of if in the end they're going to feel great or not. If it's to do with the finance that's making them happy or unhappy. I mean, we know there are so many successful people in the world that have everything in the world, and they're actually not that fulfilled either. So, but going back to your question of people buying multiple things, um, no, I think instantly, yeah, they get happiness, okay, but I think they're directing the happiness to the wrong thing or the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just a illusion of
Mhm.
getting happy or getting that pleasure from that things, but it's actually a short time uh, happiness, if you can name that. Yeah.
It's definitely short lived, isn't it? That um, and in your experience, you know, buying something considered more worth, like something like an expensive handbag compared to a supermarket brand handbag. How does that make you feel? Do you feel any better because you got the £200 handbag compared to the £50 handbag? Does it make you feel any different, or do you think that is
Yeah, of
also an
course,
illusion?
I from my experience as well. I mean, I used to think that, well, if I have if I bought a more expensive thing, a brand thing, because it's more valuable, yeah, it would help me feel more valuable wearing that thing, which I think it's quite not right. If you think just wearing some fancy and expensive things add you some value, means something actually missing inside which you want to cover or to fulfill. What about you?
So can we say that when you do buy something, whether it's a lot of money or little money, initially it does, metaphorically we could say, it makes you feel fulfilled, but it's an actual illusion. Can we say that you
Yeah.
think you don't feel empty, but in actual fact you are, and you're not focusing on the real problem and real issue, perhaps?
Yeah, I think it's just a illusion of how happy that purchase can make us and for how
Hmm.
long. And yeah, it doesn't meet our expectation in the end. It's more, I think, in a lack of understanding what makes us excited and happy. I mean, when we
Yeah.
don't really have, I don't know, a passion or excitement about our life or about our job or what we do, or I mean, we don't have that many hobbies or stuff. And yeah, I think we try to cover that lack of
Mhm.
this feeling of emptiness, and we try to cover buying more things, material things in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to reflect on personal experience here, but I know years ago when I bought my first apartment, I bought a 4-bedroom apartment, and yeah, I was really overjoyed when I first did that. It's one of those big landmarks in your life is when you buy your first house or whatever,
Mhm.
and that soon starts to fade quite quickly, and afterwards you're left with this big house. I mean, I didn't have any children at the time. um, Now you're left with this big empty house and you have to fill it. And I realize now, looking back at that time, I was really looking at things externally rather than internally. I was looking at my external environment of a house and empty rooms, and I was thinking, I need to fill these empty rooms with things to make myself feel good inside. So
Mhm.
externally, I needed to fill these rooms. So I ended up spending not only time, but money in order to buy those necessary possessions. Possessions really that I didn't really love particularly, but they made me feel good because when I had visitors come, I was able to show them my
Mhm.
room, show me this, show them all my clothes and my shoes and my furniture. And really, the things didn't really fulfill me when looking back. It was more, I thought they fulfilled me due to the way they made me look.
Yeah.
I don't know. And now I realize that it really is an internal value that you got to find within yourself rather than the external world that we live in.
Yeah, that's quite true. You actually gave me an idea that, like, when we buy things, even in the house, we always are guided by, well, how the guests when will come. I mean, if they're gonna like this and how amazing they're gonna find this. And I mean, we are not guiding just by our like personal pleasure, but about they're willing to impress others, and if they will be impressed, maybe we can feel more value in this way,
Absolutely.
right?
I think, I mean, it's safe to say I'm not saying that we shouldn't have things. Everybody
Yeah,
loves to have things. This is not what I'm saying. But the
yeah,
things I do
right.
have in my life, like I have these speakers, for example. Um, now, um, now, if I didn't listen to music, nor did I like me listen to music or whatever, then perhaps this has no value to me, these speakers, and they're in my house. Okay. Now, I'm more inclined to offer that now. If I'm not using something, I would rather offer it to somebody else who could find value in it, who would
Mm,
appreciate. So I just generally look at my external environment and find, do I really like the things in my life, and do they do they have any use? And if they don't, maybe somebody else could have use for those things. That's what I look for, really. Um, when I had a house, you tend to put things away because when you're not using them, for
mhm.
example, whatever, it could be Christmas tree. Well, I'll use a Christmas tree as an example, but you tend to put it away. Why? Because you have the space to put it away. But really, you don't need a Christmas tree all year round. You only need it 2 weeks of the year, right?
Yeah,
So, so to summarize, you probably don't actually need a Christmas tree at all. You know, but you could share it with people, I guess. But again, you
yeah,
still need somewhere to put it.
yeah. The question is like, when you end up, I mean, being greedy for so many things. It's not necessary thing. Of course, we all need like food and shelter and basic. I mean, mm, products and stuff. It's not about that. It's about
Mhm.
why we end up spending money on things which in the end, I mean, are actually unnecessary and doesn't
Right.
bring us that pleasure and that happiness which we like expect. I mean, why buying 10 pair of shoes or 5 bags or 5 dresses which you don't wear and you keep in your wardrobe? Or why just you always try to impress others, um, just thinking that, yeah, you will feel more valuable in that way? Where this need come from? Is just, do you think it's
Yeah.
coming from feeling some emptiness inside or unworthiness inside?
Yeah, it's hard to think where exactly that comes from. If it naturally comes from us, or is that really the external influence on us, on our behavior? I mean, I know as a child, when I was a child, I didn't care, obviously, what I wore or anything like that.
Mhm.
And when you're a child, you're not so judgmental of others or in any way. Um, I'm talking about primary school particularly here, but I also remember, I didn't really come from I didn't come from rich parents at all. I came from a very lower class family, and my mother had a part-time job cleaning, working in factories, trying to help my father in this case, and I remember, I think I probably had one or two pairs of shoes growing up. Um, And I remember my mother we used to buy really good shoes. That's true. My mother never used to buy cheap shoes. She was someone who thought, no, you need to spend more but good quality. So she used to always buy us Clarks. But we used to wear them until we couldn't wear them anymore. So we would wear them until the
Yeah.
sole were worn. I used to wear, obviously in the UK we wear school uniforms, so I had trousers on and things. And as a 7, 8 year old boy, I would spend most of my life on the floor, and hence I would have holes and things like that. And I would return home, and my mother would say, "Oh my God, another hole," And my mother, instead of buying, of course, we couldn't afford another pair of trousers. My mother would, she would sew patches onto the holes. Okay,
Yeah.
and I love them. I went to school proud of having these
Hmm.
patches, and now I love these. Well, I'm going to show you these jeans, with holes, which, which is fashionable. But I love wearing things like that, and I like things with holes and rips, and I think it's artistic. And I love those things as a child, although it made you look poor. But I liked it. I liked the style, if you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but going back to that, I was just saying that in this case, you appreciated more the things you had. I don't want to sound like an old fogey here of saying, when in the past we appreciated things, but it's true in
Yeah,
the sense that we appreciated things a little bit more than we
it's
do today.
it's also about the gratitude about what we have already. Because if it's never enough for us, there is a good question why. And sometimes it's also, I think, because of the comparison with others. Like some people tend to compare themselves with others. Like, for example, when the new gadgets are on the market, well, I mean, she has a Samsung S9, I still have a Samsung S8. I mean, I want to have 9 as well, or stuff like that. I mean, some ridiculous things like that. And you always try to be like others, thinking that, maybe you would feel more worthy or happy.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's you bring up an interesting point there. We do naturally compare ourselves to others. I mean, I think obviously with social media and things, more so today than ever, really. Um, but again, this is ignoring the underlying issue internally. We're missing
Yeah.
something internally, fundamentally, right? We're ignoring that, and we try and feed this emptiness by comparing ourselves to others. It's kind of almost trying to
Yeah.
thinking we need to be like them to feel good. We need
Yeah.
them. We need those objects. All these things. We're looking externally always for happiness, to feel good, to feel less empty.
Yeah, we always think that because other people possess more things or other better things, we have like a false idea that they are more happy than us.
Yeah.
Probably.
And in actual fact, I mean, not all of them. There's a lot of, depends on their mindset. There's quite a lot of, there's a lot of successful people that are not so fulfilled, even though they have everything in the world. But there are many who are successful too, and they do have a deep level of appreciation. They've actually got great mindsets in that respect. You know, it's like it's not that important to them to have everything. However, when we have less money or economically less, it becomes for some reason more important for us to have things to feel good. Whereas people that have everything, they don't need all of it to feel good. It's kind of a different.
Like I remember a phrase that is not about how much you have that makes you happy, is about if what you have is enough for you.
Exactly. Well, I think we will leave it right there. I just want to say to everybody who's tuned in live, thank you for tuning in. And if you're catching on the replay, just letting you guys know these debates going forward are between 15 to 20 minutes, more or less. Depends if we might get a bit less, a bit longer, just depends on the day. And please comment below any of your questions, or if you want to give your own opinion on today's topic, then please write in the comment section below.
Thank you so much, people. Stay happy.
Absolutely. And and definitely have a little think of each purchase you make in the future, because that's something we all need to be conscious about when we're buying something. It's like, for sure. It's I know myself, every purchase I make now, I'm always thinking about, do I really need it and why, and I question it all the time. But catch me at Gary Baronet at Facebook and Instagram, and of course here on YouTube. Anyway,
And Galina Matveev. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys, and
Thank you, guys.
be well. Bye.